The Cardinals snapped their losing streak. We've got trade deadline deals pouring in and an exciting NFL draft prospect to break down today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins, and we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers, those of you who never miss a single episode. We appreciate you all being here very, very much.
Joe, happy Victory Tuesday to the Arizona Cardinals.
Yes.
The bird mascot teams continue to be an enigma in some ways this season. I'll have a hard time placing the Ravens first month of the year. The Falcons are a team that will always befuddle us. And now the Cardinals. We felt pretty confident with the Monday Night Football pick, and lo and behold, that rookie draft class for the Cardinals on defense with Will Johnson and Walter Nolan made their presence felt in a win.
Yeah, the defense looked like it was supposed to look. By the way, today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Kyle was fumbling the whole time trying to find it.
He called me with my pants down. I was like, I'm not
ready
to start. Joe's not done talking.
I know. It was
too many tabs.
No, it wasn't that there was too many tabs. That there wasn't enough. I didn't have the one that let me know what title sponsor it was today. So I was kind of trying to figure it out while I was doing the open. And I'm like, boy, I don't know if I could pull this off. So I figured the best thing was to just get the open done, kick it to you, and then I'd come back and tell everyone about FanDuel.
We know Jerry Jones had a fresh look at his defense at the game last night after saying a trade was done. And then after the game, a trade's not done yet. I don't have to do the trade, but I probably still will do the trade. We woke up this morning and finalized the trade for Logan Wilson, which is one of our trade deadline deals. Do we think Logan Wilson? How many players do the Cowboys need to acquire in the next 7 business hours to make you feel confident that their defense will get enough reinforcements for them to make a playoff run now at 3-5-1?
I don't think there's any. I simultaneously think that the trade's reasonable. I think Logan Wilson's immediately their best linebacker. But I think it was disappointing for Dallas in a number of fronts in this game to obviously not be able to score more than 17 points. And obviously they get the help of a blocked punt to get there. Obviously for Arizona, I think it's meaningful for them to kind of have their defense look the way it's supposed to. And, obviously there's some questions to be asked about Jacoby Brissett and if he's the best quarterback for this team right now.
There's no questions to be asked here. We know the answer. We just have to pretend like there's a question because one of these guys is on a $46 million a year contract. There's no question at this point.
Well, you can really get a sense for how Kyler Murray just limits this football team, right? And Jacoby Brissett's not going to be anyone's preferred starting quarterback, but for him to step in and run this offense better and to get more out of playmakers like Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride, it's pretty obvious to me. And Drew Petzig, I think, is a coordinator that it wasn't long ago he had some hype for like head coaching stuff, and he's kind of fallen off. And the more he aligns with Kyler Murray, the less appealing he becomes. But I think he's got some good stuff. I just don't think he's got a quarterback that's out there running it the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, it's that adapt or die element of quarterbacks, right? And you see the same thing going on in a couple different spots elsewhere across the league. But okay, you very clearly have something that you do well, and that was the Cliff Kingsbury offense was optimized for Kyler Murray, right? And then you make a change. And a new coach comes in with a new OC, and Kyler's hurt to start, and you're trying to figure out, okay, how well can he grow into a different offense and adapt his game? And we haven't seen that adaptation happen. So I think what becomes interesting is like Kyler's probably a player who, at the end of this season, I think it's absolutely worth them having the conversation about moving on from Kyler Murray. And I think Kyler will have a chance to be a sufficient level starting quarterback in a different scheme that's more tailored to his strengths. But that adaptation we have not seen.
Yeah.
And Brissett has a higher floor within the offense that you're being asked to run with the elements of the offense. And that allows Petzig to put more layers onto the offense so the offense can look better instead of running it through the same funnel that it is currently being run. So that to me makes it a very easy conversation, with the exception of you have the second half of this season in which Kyler Murray is being paid to be the starting quarterback. And once you formally make that change, there's no going back, and you have decided. And if I were these coaches, I would not go back, because like you're far enough into your regimes.
Yeah.
It's you on the line versus Kyler.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. That's the way they have to look at it. No reason to validate that. It wasn't your guy to begin with. Like you don't have to do this. The Cardinals are going to be kicking themselves for that 5-game losing streak where every single loss was less than 4 points, and some of the goofiest losses you'll ever see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Titans game, top of the list.
Yeah. Niners by 1, Seattle by 3. They,
Oh no!
Indy
Don't
game.
Put that Seattle one in there. They got smoked.
These are close losses, though.
They made it interesting late.
Well, so the rest of this division is 6-3 or better.
Yeah,
they could be right there in it.
They could be,
but
there's a lot of teams that could be.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing, right?
You are what
you are.
They are who we thought they were. What day are we doing that segment?
Oh, I already forgot about that. Yeah.
No, we're not forgetting. We can't forget it.
What was
Denny Green?
What was the plan? It was good.
The week.
Oh yeah.
That? It was probably supposed to be yesterday.
Yeah.
So we could use it as the Dallas defense today, this week.
Yeah.
Just
actually,
close your eyes and listen to the Denny Green soundbite. They are who we thought they were.
Listen, all things considered, for Dallas, this is one of their better performances defensively. This is they hadn't held the team to less yards since week 1.
Oh boy.
so yeah, there's that.
Maybe can we say Drew Petzig is who we thought he was?
Without
Kyler Murray?
Maybe
in a good way.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be the Denny Green. They are who we thought they were in a bad way. Could be in a good way.
All right, our goal is to never forget that again. So Monday, they are who we.
Sticky note. I know you got sticky notes on your monitors. I'm going to do one on mine.
Got it right here. Yeah, sticky notes.
Denny Green Monday. Every Monday.
All right, I dig it. That's a fun segment. Chris Schubert would be proud. Okay, we got more to do here. There's trades that are happening, and several since the last time we spoke. Maybe we'll get one while we're speaking here as we record this on Tuesday morning, folks. Be sure to stick with us. Nobody likes paying rent, but if you must, you might as well get something for it. And that's where Built comes in. Built is changing the game by turning your rent payments into real rewards that you can actually use. When you pay your rent through Built, you earn flexible points that can be redeemed towards hundreds of hotels and airlines, a future rent payment, your next Lyft ride, and so much more. But Built isn't just about rent. It's about rewarding you around your entire neighborhood. I love that with Built, your rent finally works for you. You're earning points every month on something you already have to pay. So turn your rent into rewards and start earning points around your neighborhood by going to joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNFL. That's joinbilt.com/LockedOnNFL. Make sure to go to the show notes and click on the link so that they know we sent you.
No trades thus far during the program.
So far, so good. Shall we
thus far
say a little more about this Logan Wilson trade?
I like it. Like it for the Cowboys.
Yeah. And there's 2 more years of control if they want it, and none of the money's guaranteed. So,
but the finances are not, it's not unreasonable money.
No, it's
right?
not.
It's not like a team that's trading for a guy that's got $24 million in non-guaranteed salary next year. It's like less than $8 million per year.
Yeah. Look, I I know that defense in Cincy has struggled, but we've seen Logan Wilson play at least a sufficient level starter caliber.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he'll feel right at home going to another defense that's shaky. But I think he can be a reasonable piece. And we're talking, what do you give, a 7th-round pick?
Yes.
Yeah, they won't find something better. Yeah, that's a perfectly good trade.
You can sneeze on day 3 of the draft and pull out a tissue and find a 7th-round pick in your pocket with that tissue.
Cal, do you know what you could have done with a 7th-round pick in this past year's draft? You know the answer to this?
What's that?
You could have drafted Sean Dolak.
You could have. You should have. Every single one of those picks that was made should have been Sean Dolak.
Every single one. Yeah.
Was there a 7th-round draft selection thus far who has performed better than Sean Dolak?
I don't know that off the top of my head, but I'm guessing that's probably not the case.
Just give me a hot second.
This is the sidebar we needed right here.
As we go through trade deadline. Okay, so 7th-round picks, meaningful 7th-round picks thus far. Well, Damian Martinez, I think, has been on 3 teams and is not playing for anybody right
Yeah.
Quinn Ewers was a backup for a week and then back to 3rd string. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, 245.
Okay, there we go.
Better pick than Sean Dolak.
What about
Connor Colby, guard with the 49ers?
He's getting some run, right?
He's getting some run. I think he's a good fit.
What about the Rutgers running back? Wasn't he a 7th-rounder? Manungai?
I think he was.
He's 7. I'm pretty sure he's a 7.
233, 7th-round pick. He's only had 1 week, though. Only 1 week of production this far.
I know. He's 360 rushing yards this year, a touchdown.
No. One real week of production. More than half of that production came in 1 game.
Just getting started, man. Quinn Ewers.
No. So probably out of all of those picks, probably 42 of them should have been Sean Dolak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of 7th-round picks that were traded, the Baltimore Ravens traded cornerback Jair Alexander and a 7th-round pick to the Eagles in exchange for a 6th-round pick. It's a 2027 7 and Alexander for a 2026 6. Throwing darts here. We want an outside corner so we can keep Cooper Jean in the spot,
something
right?
for him. Congrats, you got something for Jair Alexander. It was never more apparent in the history of mankind that a player was toast than what Jair's last 2 seasons looked like in Green Bay. And every fan base was falling all over themselves, hoping their team was going to be the one to sign Jair, and he took less money to sign in Baltimore to link up with Lamar. I don't think he had a single day of practice in training camp with his knee. Through this past week before getting traded, I think he played like 60 snaps in 8 weeks and dressed in 2 games.
I'm just happy he dressed in week 1 and made that tackle on Keon Coleman, or else the Bills probably don't win. Yeah,
we're done here.
He's cooked. Yes. So, I bet you still got some smack to talk, though. You know, he ain't going to stop, baby.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah. So let's keep going. Last night, we had the Titans trading edge, well, I don't know, defensive lineman.
Defensive pass rush.
That guy, yeah. Multiple gap.
Right. Inside-outside alignment. Draymond Jones.
To the Ravens for a conditional 5 that could become a 4. I kind of like this deal for Baltimore. They need some pass rush. I think they have 11 sacks this year.
Yeah, they are sorely missing Nnamdi Madubuike, whose return doesn't feel like it's it feels like it's very up in the air what his future is going to be. So a short-term stopgap player who can also do some of the things that Odafe Owe did for them before they traded Owe to the Chargers.
Quick timeout. Odafe Owe has more sacks in 4 games with the Chargers than he did in 2025. In 9 games. That doesn't make sense. No, see, it's goofy on Pro Football Reference. He has 4 sacks. He didn't have any with Baltimore.
He had none
0
with Baltimore. Yeah, he was awful this year in Baltimore.
Yo.
Chargers probably feeling pretty good about them. Now, it's a rental unless you pay him. He had 10 sacks last year.
Yeah.
I would expect that'd probably be somebody I would try to get something done with, unless you want to let him walk and think he can get the Josh Sweat contract if he balls out again, and then you can get like a comp 4 for him if you don't spend in free agency. So,
yeah, they're going to get a comp pick for Christian Fulton, and Christian Fulton can't even get a jersey for the Chiefs on game day. Their free agent haul of Christian Fulton, Jalen Moore, and Elijah Mitchell. I don't know about that.
It's a good thing they drafted Patrick Mahomes.
Listen, buddy, don't get me going. Don't get me going on Brett Veach, man. Thinks he's God's gift of GMing. He didn't even pick for it. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I like this trade for Baltimore. I think they're coming in the North. They needed some rush, versatility. Should speak some of the same language, right? Coming from Denard Wilson with Tennessee, who was part of that coaching staff with Mike McDonald there that produced like 4 different coordinators. So that's a very clean pickup. I like that a ton. And I think that's a pretty good return for Tennessee. Draymond Jones didn't have much of a market this offseason.
Yeah.
He signed a pretty modest 1-year deal to go to Tennessee, 28 years old. I think that's a nice flip for the Titans. I mean, even if it winds up being a 5, I think that's really, really good in terms of a trade package.
So real quick, what I like about this from Baltimore's standpoint, so you know how many 3s they had before the trade, or how many 5s they had before the trade?
I don't have any idea.
I just told you they had 3 5s next year before the trade.
Okay.
They trade the highest, which belonged to the Jets, as a part of this conditional pick. And yet, all of if the draft started today, the Ravens would have more 5s than they had before they traded, because they're getting 2 5s in compensatory picks for Patrick McCarry and Brandon Stevens.
Okay.
So they're going to end up still, after doing this, have 4 5th-round picks.
I never am concerned about the Ravens not having an abundance of draft capital.
Must be nice. Right?
Nice segue. Nice segue.
To a team that desperately needs some draft capital.
And got a 3.
From a team that always has draft capital.
Right. All right. So
coincidence, and is setting market values for teams and what teams have surplus of, or the teams that are willing to buy. So maybe that's part of the conversation when we do trade deadline stuff next year. Who has surplus of picks? Because it makes it easier it's an easier pill to swallow. Because if you don't have a surplus of picks and you traded a 1-4 for Bradley Chubb, you're going to wake up a few years later really wishing you had a 1-4 instead.
Dolphins traded Jalen Phillips to the Eagles.
Yes, they did.
For a 2026 3rd-round pick.
Top 100 pick.
It's obviously a player that Miami was probably not going to continue with. He's a good player. Medical stuff, right? He's had 2 significant NFL injuries. He's medically retired at one point in college.
Yep.
The story here is unbelievable, right? What he's been through and what he's meant for the South Florida community is one of my favorite players in terms of learning about his community service efforts, and I think that should be very much applauded. But it's Vic Fangio, obviously, a little time with Miami, knows Jalen Phillips, identified him as a player that can help that pass rush. They've had injuries off the edge. Nolan Smith's on IR. They bring in Zadarius Smith, who then retires. It's like Jalix Hunt, and that's
Brandon Graham.
Right. So we need to get something done here. And I think this is a worthwhile swing. We'll see if they can, if it's just a 1-year deal or, what's going to happen long-term there. But for now, a team that probably looks at themselves as a contender, as the reigning champions, they get some much needed help off the edge.
So I know the price was probably a little higher. The price was not worth it for Dolphins fans that have become emotionally invested and attached to Jalen Phillips. But I think most of the rest of the outside football world would be surprised to find out that you have a 3 going for a 1-year rental, right? Or what is, as of right now, a 1-year rental. And he's a high variance, high risk player because of that injury history that you mentioned. Torn Achilles on Black Friday 2023, partially torn ACL, missed the rest of the year, week 4, 2024, right? So has played in 12 games in 2 years prior to 2025, in which he stayed healthy to the halfway point in the trade deadline. That's a big part of the reason why I think that if the Dolphins were in a little bit of a different spot organizationally and he didn't have the injury risk, it's a player you want to pay. It's a player you want to keep because he's a first-round pick that's shown plenty of talent, plenty of ability. He's like top 10 in the league in pressure rate through the first 9 weeks of the season, and it's really come on the last 5 weeks. But I think you look at where Philly's at and how he's historically aggressive, and he allows himself to be aggressive because they have a compensatory 3 that they're projected to get. That's only going to be a few picks later in the queue. The Dolphins were willing to pay some of the salary because they're going to smash all the records for dead money next year regardless. So they're not going to be spending in free agency next year anyway. So what's $5 million to buy up from a pick that's going to be at 135 in the queue to a pick that's going to be 94 in the queue?
A year earlier.
Or if you traded him and you didn't buy the salary down and you got a 4th round pick from Philly this year, right? Like, it's still 50. Like, that's a meaningful gap in distance for a few $1 million that you're not going to be spending next year in free agency anyway, because you're going to have 40% of your cap's going to be dead cap next year.
Real quick, I know that Spencer Brown will be excited to not have to play against Jalen Phillips this week. That's one of the rushers that gives him a little trouble. And Pretty Ricky, what'd he say? Sounds like the Dolphins will be moving Bradley Chubb today. Cowboys.
He said that?
49. Yeah, this is 1 minute ago. We will.
Yes.
So a rumor from Ricky, the dog.
They will offset the money they paid for Jalen Phillips by moving Bradley Chubb, because he's 1 sack away from a $1.255 million.
Gotta get him out of here.
Performance incentive, and every 2 sacks after that, he gets another $900,000.
Yeah, get him out.
He's got to go. And from a playing time perspective, he's on the second tier. If he plays 60% of the snaps, it's another $1.255 million. 65% is another $900,000. 70% is another $900,000. He got to go, and you're gonna get that $5 million back real quick.
There you go.
All
right, we got a prospect to talk about. Is it Arvell Reese?
Yes, that's correct.
Talk about him next. Folks, be sure to stick with us. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who's going to score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It just keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com, sign up, and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Can we retroactively, real quick, talk about how bad of a trade that Bradley Chubb trade ended up being?
You don't have to do this, man.
Chris Greer's gone. He can't hurt me anymore, right?
You don't have to do this.
Did you hear what the straw that broke the back for Chris Greer was being let go?
I don't know what it is.
So Dave Hyde and Joe Rose are 2 media heavyweights down South Florida, and they both separately referenced this. Steve Ross asked the owner of the team, Chris Greer what the plan was for the trade deadline, and he's like, I don't know. We'll see who calls.
What do you mean?
Right.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like you're 2-5. What do you, or 2-6? What do you mean? We'll see who calls. So that was it. Amidst the other evaluation pieces to find out that we were just going to wait and see what happens, which perfectly summarizes the Chris Greer experience. I used to think it was a good thing, but the last 3 years I have been toxically indoctrinated that you can't just passively shrug your shoulders and say, well, whatever you want to do. It's the head coach, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. He held the job for a long time, and we still have no idea what his core philosophies are. That's impressive, man.
His core philosophies were
whatever the head coach wants.
Somebody else's fault when things didn't go right.
Hey, there you go. So, the guy held the job for a long time doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good work if you can find it.
Arvell Reese.
Right. Yeah, let's talk about this guy. Ohio State, 6'4", 243 pounds is what he's listed at. He's a young man. He's 20 years old. He just turned 20 in August. So if this guy declares for the draft, he'll be 21 like in preseason of his rookie year. One of the rare players in the history of the world that has only played for one team. I'm used to writing down several teams that they played for. This guy's been Ohio State through and through. I never heard of him until yesterday. And I'm glad I've heard of him because he's a very interesting player, 4-star recruit. Like we said, Ohio State through and through. When he played kind of a stack backer role last year, and he's been this more hybrid player so far this year, and it looks like he's caught a lot of attention. And I watched Texas, Washington, and Illinois this morning. I wish I could have seen the Penn State game, but I found the highlight reel of that game, so I saw some of those high-level moments. So I'm well acquainted with Mr. Arvell Reese, who is very interesting. So with the scene set, I will kick it to you for your initial thoughts.
Yeah, the first year in 2024, he only played 6 snaps on the line of scrimmage through 2, 4, 6, 8 games this season. Draft dudes do math. I can count to 8. You got fingers and toes for that.
Make sure you didn't count the bye week, though. That could throw you off.
Right. Yeah, I only counted the games.
All right, good job.
168 snaps on the defensive line through 8 games this season. Very impressive pressure totals. He's only rushed the passer 71 times per Pro Football Focus.
Oh, really?
22 pressures on 71.
I was going to say, boy, I think I've seen every one of those rush reps, I feel like, man. That's a low number.
He plays in space. He doesn't miss tackles. He's got a missed tackle rate of 6%. He will blow your rear end up at the point of attack. He can take you down the midline and rush you with power. He's got the ability to rush with speed. He's got the ability to mug up on interior gaps. He can come from depth. He's got explosive speed and range. The most fluid hips in the world? No. I think it's space. I think that's where you're like, okay, I could tell you're not a 225-pound former safety playing linebacker.
Right.
But other than that,
he can turn, though. I mean, I don't think this guy has any issues with cornering.
As a flexibility, rushing, but as a guy who's predominantly off the ball, and he's got twice as many reps in coverage as he does rushing the passer. I do just make the note of the flexibility for transitional stuff in space. This is like top shelf deluxe Jalen Walker build for me, is where you see some parallels, you see what he can do. He's better on the second level, better coverage, and better in space. He's got a more translatable build than Jalen Walker did.
I agree.
But that archetype of player, man, it's hard not to get starry-eyed thinking about what you could do with a guy like this, especially with how popular sim pressures are across the league right now.
I'm a big fan of this guy. Really, really dynamic athlete. The closing speed is pretty special. And the way he plays downhill and plays behind his hands and the power that he has in his hands, man, like he finds surface and tosses dudes out of the way. I mean, his stack and shed's really, really outstanding. And he's a firm player. Like he's probably 240, 245, something like that. But you're not seeing people get into his frame. You're not seeing him get displaced. Like he takes it on and that's it. Like you are stuck there and you're getting tossed to the side. And you see that show up with a lot of how he rushes, being able to execute that speed to power, find some surface and play behind his hands, sometimes being able to hit a hump move and, just get through. Right. And I'm excited to see like that rush profile expand because he's got the goods, right? Length, power, hand placement looks good. It's just about kind of formulating your rush plan and some counters and stuff. But I think all the stuff is really, really present, and the versatility to do a lot of things for the front. I want him going forward. I think he can zone drop. That's fine. I'm not drafting him to carry tight ends down the seam, dude. I'm drafting this guy to attack pockets, right? And I think that rush schemes are becoming more and more creative with players just like this being featured in the interior gaps, setting picks, kind of being mere players that can add to the rush. This is a player that's very exciting. Fortunately for him, the Falcons don't have a first-round pick, or else he would definitely be their selection.
You know what's funny there? The other name that I had down was Caden Ellis.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, honestly, like how Caden Ellis is being used. I'm loving these players, dude. Like seeing what Caden Ellis is doing, Micah Parsons, maybe a little bit of Edge Cooper. You see that. What the Bills did for a game and a half with Michael Hoyt. It's like, this is a really fun way to
do that to yourself.
Brother, it's killing me, man. Me and I'd rather have Hoyt back than Oliver. I think that's kind of crazy, right?
No, I don't think that's.
He's
no,
really
I don't think that's crazy.
But you got to rush these pockets different, man. These quarterbacks are different, and you can really dictate terms and create mismatches. And I think Reese can really make a defense pretty dynamic. I'm a big fan. He'll be high on my board. I've done 2 players, but he'll be high. I know he'll be high.
Yeah, he's a player maybe 10 years ago.
Would have nothing to do with this guy.
We'd be like, yeah, it's hard to be in between. And what's the rush profile? And I think he's better as a pass rusher, but he's got 90 career pass rush attempts as of November 4th. What do you do with that? How refined is it? What's the rush plan look like for the NFL level? And what's that translation look like? It would just be very, very muddy. But the way that the league has evolved, right? And it's almost like some of this stuff is trickling up. This stuff was more popular in college, and now it's continuing to trickle up to the NFL. No brainer as a defensive weapon, and just you mentioned the power in the play style, right? Like with a prototypical,
soft, dude,
with a prototypical build, not a prototypical 6'5", 265, 4-3 defensive end build, but with this kind of modern era hybrid can play in space type of player, sky's the limit, I think.
I kind of understand a little bit of what the Giants want to get done with Abdul Carter as well. Kind of using him a little bit like this. People are like, "Whoa, what's he doing playing Mike linebacker?" Like, I think that's okay, right? I think you can really maximize this type of player where I don't want him setting edges against offensive tackles regularly. I think he's going to be best on rundowns playing downhill from the second level. But
yeah,
I think that every defense needs to find ways to get these types of players involved. Even front, odd front, whatever you want to be. Like this type of skill set is very, very useful. The league is figuring out how to use it. And this guy is just unbelievably dynamic. I mean, as long as he's like a good dude and all that, he's behind my board. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yep. He's a top 5 player on my board.
Is he? Okay.
So
sweet. I'm
excited
to watch him the rest of the way.
Reaction to Arvell Reese is
that won the hard one. That won the hard one.
So as a fun, and I apologize, he is a 20-year-old junior, but I'm sure you see it how I see it. You play.
Oh, this guy's coming out. Yeah, this guy's coming out. Yeah.
The only other question I had for you was if you happen to log the rest of the spine of that Ohio State defense.
I just watched 8 the whole time.
They've got another linebacker, Sonny Styles, and they've obviously
0.
Yeah, and then they've got Caleb Downs.
That's the safety. I know
the
that
safety
guy.
number.
Try
2.
not to look at him though.
They what they're doing with the next time we come back and watch an Ohio State player, watch how they tie those 3 players together in the middle of their defense.
Matty P's getting it done, huh?
Matty P is getting it done. He got some toys because those guys are all high on my draft.
This guy kind of came out of nowhere, right? I'd assume he didn't do much.
He played 300 snaps last year.
Yeah.
And that was it. So, yeah, he's kind of the latest emergent young player with a big opportunity who, when it's all said and done, is probably going to have over 600 snaps this year, assuming Ohio State makes a playoff run like we're thinking they're going to. But anything else before we get out of here? I know we're right up against it.
More rumors from Ricky, Minka, Cowboys.
All right,
maybe.
Kyle Crabbs, Joe Marino. That's going to do it for us here today on the show. Come back tomorrow. We're doing trade deadline reaction, and we hope to see you then. Let's make some deals.